Welcome to ET Talk, a new podcast from Enterprise Technology at UT Austin. I'm Cole Camplese, Vice President for Technology and CIO, and this is a show about the people, ideas, and technology shaping our university. Here's the thing, technology touches everything we do on this campus. From the moment a prospective student applies, to the research happening in our labs, to the way we keep the lights on and the network running, it's all connected. But too often the work happens behind the scenes. ET Talk is our chance to pull back the curtain. Each episode will have honest conversations about what we're building, why we're building it, and what it means for the students, faculty, and staff who make UT Austin what it is. Some episodes will go deep on strategy. Others will spotlight the people doing remarkable work across our IT community. All of them will aim for something simple: transparency and connection. So, episode 1, I will be joined by my colleague Amanda Fratticcioli, who serves as the Chief of Staff in the Office of the CIO. We're starting with the topic that's on everyone's mind: artificial intelligence. AI isn't new, but the moment we're in right now is. Tools that were theoretical a few years ago are now in the hands of our students, our researchers, and our staff. And the question isn't whether AI will change higher education, it's how we create that change intentionally, responsibly, and in a way that affects and reflects our values as a university. Today, I'll share where we are with AI at UT Austin, the platforms we're building, the adoption we're seeing, and the principles guiding our approach. We'll talk about what's working, what's still uncertain, and where we see our biggest opportunities ahead. In episodes 2 and 3, we'll be doing a deep dive into a discussion with the leaders driving this initiative, and even talking to some of our students who are bringing AI into the forefront on our campus. So with that, let's get into it. All right, welcome back to episode 1 of ET Talk. Can't believe we're finally getting to do this, Amanda.
It's taken a while.
It has. We've been talking about this since really the day that we landed, about 4 months apart?
Yes.
At UT?
Yep.
For those who are unaware, Amanda and I actually worked together previously at another university, Northeastern University, where we built really innovative digital products.
Yes.
But we wrapped our work up there about the time that AI was taking off.
That's true. I didn't really think of that.
Yeah, like I remember sitting in my office on campus and getting my hands on ChatGPT for the first time and thinking I was watching a magic trick. I mean, you remember those days, right? And, fast forward, and what we saw as I was transitioning to the university was that the University of Texas at Austin was engaged in this thing called the Year of AI, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And that sort of wrapped up last December.
Yeah.
And we've been at this for over a year here, which I think is really exciting. I think what we saw with Michigan, they were really early out of the gate. And I think you and I were talking about this idea of, could we take a platform approach to AI like we did at Northeastern with our digital projects?
Yes.
And I think that that's been, one of our differentiators, thinking broadly about how we deploy AI and not just putting one tool in the hands of one person. We wanted to arm the campus with an equitable AI solution, but that's really hard to do.
Especially here, and the equitability of different programs and stuff like that, being able to afford it for their staff, their faculty, their students.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we've been able to do pretty quickly, I would say here.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice that the administration really bought in. Everybody from the president and the provost, CFO on down, really all were, I wouldn't say they were as captivated by the AI moment as probably we were as technologists, but I would say that they were intrigued to a point that they knew that if we were going to live up to our values of being a world-class public institution, that we needed to do something. But we needed to do something that was both ethical and really responsible, because it's a tricky place to deliver AI, higher education.
Yeah, especially here at Texas.
Yeah.
With us being federated and everyone wanting to have a say in what we're doing and stuff like that. And I know we're working on it, but the governance around it and getting through those hurdles and stuff like that.
Yeah, and those are the hurdles that are really the hard ones. I think we went into the project, or projects, I should say, thinking the technology would be a big challenge. But as we've learned through the years, it's not the technology that's the challenge, it's the people part.
Yes.
And I think that's held true here. However, for those of you who aren't really aware of the University of Texas, we're very large public university, 53,000 students, 20,000 faculty staff. It's a huge institution, hundreds of thousands of living alumni, probably the most powerful athletics brand in higher education, and probably one of the top 5 brands in public higher education. And it has an ethos about it, doesn't it?
It does.
It sort of matches the state of Texas, where individual units in colleges, they want to control their own destiny. It's almost, like it's baked into the reality. And to watch campus go, oh, there's somebody thinking about all of us instead of just each of us, was a really interesting turning point for us. And adoption's been staggering.
The numbers in the first few months when we launched the different Copilot, ChatGPT, stuff like that, was astounding.
Yeah. I mean, right now we have probably close to 10,000 Spark users. And we're going to get into the details of these platforms. We're going to get Cody and Mario in here and some students to talk to us. But just to lay the groundwork, we led with two programs initially. One was we were a very early investor in Microsoft Copilot, right? We brought in about 3,000 licenses, but we did something a little different for UT than what's done before with technology programs. We brought in training alongside of it.
Yes. And that's the biggest thing. AI can be easy. It's built into so much, but when you're actually trying to make it beneficial for your work and productivity, being trained on it and not wasting time and going through everything, I think it was really impactful. And we partnered with a lot of great groups to deliver training all across campus.
Yeah. So with our 3,000 licenses, I think we trained 2,500 people.
Yeah.
Easily. Well, not easily, but we hit that number easily. The demand was unbelievable. And I think hopefully that taught our team a big lesson about how all of our rollouts in the future need to be. When you have big change initiatives, communication, training, engagement, just spectacular. So we led with the Copilot licenses, and along with that, we worked with Microsoft to deploy a platform that we call UT Spark. UT Spark is an OpenAI environment that is built on Azure. So we have cost control, and it allows us to provide AI tools for free to students across campus, as well as faculty and staff. With that, we also talk to our researchers, which, guess what? Different needs.
Yes, completely different needs.
Completely different needs, right? And we really envisioned at the beginning that Spark could be the platform for everybody, but what we realized really quickly with the pace at which the AI space is growing, that we needed to provide extraordinarily robust off-the-shelf tools as well. But our number one concern was data privacy, and security. That's layered on top of our responsible and ethical concerns. But for researchers working with data sets that could be sensitive, have intellectual property, or we just don't want that data training outside models, we had to go out and work with OpenAI, Anthropic, to bring in enterprise versions of those tools as well. And our faculty and staff pay a small monthly fee. We've negotiated that, but we're seeing wild uptake of that as well.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I'm curious, in your role, you sort of live in the space between strategy, operations, and technology. Like that's you're sort of the triangle that you exist in. You have to know enough about the technology to make you extraordinarily effective, but you have to know everything about the way the organization operates, and you have to be able to wrangle all of the people and programs. So how have you and your team in sort of operations, because you have HR, you have finance, and by the way, finance for a 550 person IT organization is not straightforward, especially given the way the models work here. Have you seen your team embrace AI at the operational layer that's creating some sort of positive change in the group that you're running?
Yeah, there's been a lot of it. One example that we were just talking about yesterday was we are doing a roles and responsibilities review for our operations team, understanding what the actual work is to get to a place where we can really resource plan and make sure we're appropriately staffed, and workload is fair around the group. And with that, my team was able to, it sounds simple, but use AI within Excel and the Copilot there really leaned into where we weren't just doing data entry. We were able to feed it information, and it was able to make everything go so much quicker. Something that was a 300-line spreadsheet that would have taken hours to do, we were able to use different documents that we already had and use AI within Excel to produce a near, I'd say it's like 70% now. My staff just needs to go in and validate, make sure the information is correct, clean up a little bit. But it took something that probably would have taken weeks to do on top of their job already, and made it so much easier. And we're able to kind of output in something that I'll be reviewing it with you in our next one-on-one.
That's great. And so that's why it was so easy to do this.
Yes.
Right? Because those were the kinds of examples that the administration grabbed onto right away.
Yes.
Right? They, I took in some slides that shared, here are some use cases, and I purposefully chose to make sure that there was stuff from Office of General Counsel, Legal Affairs, and Advancement, and Athletics, all the other VPs around the cabinet table, to make sure that they saw that what we weren't saying is, we're going to replace your team. Mm-hmm. We're going to augment it in a way that once you learn the basic skills, will transform your work.
Yes.
And that was enough to sell this idea of AI on campus. Now, how are we going to scale AI on campus, I think, is the most interesting part of our AI program. So we've talked about training, right? The importance of that and engaging the community. We talked about the platforms and the tools, but what we've not talked about is, how do we scale innovation? And I think that this is probably the most interesting thing that we're getting ready to launch, and that is the AI Studio.
Yes.
So the AI Studio is physical infrastructure that will be the connecting tissue between solutions and customers. And so what is that connected tissue? Well, we believe it's our students. So we're launching really the country's first and largest AI-powered program to improve the operations, the academics, and everything in between across campus, with trained students who can be deployed in teams across campus against these problems. So right now we're in the process of thinking about our curriculum. And there'll be a curriculum because we have to train these students, right? So I envision the first 4 weeks of the fall semester will be in what we'll call the AI Academy. 50 students going through curriculum provided to us by corporate partners, by our own faculty on our own staff. At that point, those students can be broken up into teams and assigned projects that come in. So imagine your simple task that you talked about, you share that as a colleague with somebody in the CFO's office. They reach back out and say, hey, we want that assistance. In normal times at a university, I can only employ 3 or 4 engineers, 3 or 4 staff members, but think of the multiplying factor we have with our students. I mean, the students on this campus are unbelievable to begin with.
The brightest students I've ever met.
Yeah. And it's not just they're motivated.
Yes.
And intrinsically motivated. And again, I think a lot of it has to do with, obviously, the type of student that we attract to this university. But again, the ethos of the university is like trailblazing.
Yeah.
And our students exemplify that. So right now we're working with about 5 or 6 big corporate partners, and we hope to announce some things in the next couple of episodes. But we're really, really excited about this.
Yes, please don't announce yet.
I can't do it. But that's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I think that's what we call
that must be episode 4.
Yeah, that's what we call in the biz, a cliffhanger.
Yes.
But are there things that are on your mind as you walk across campus and you engage with people? Like, what are the things that you think that campus doesn't necessarily maybe understand about AI, or should they be just dipping their toes in the water? Like, how do you see that playing out, like across the folks that you interact with?
I think a lot of it is, I'm just going to go there with this one. Yeah. They're worried about their jobs.
Yeah.
And some are hesitant still, even though we've done so much training and stuff like that. They are hesitant to, is this going to replace my job? And it's been really rewarding with my team. With the spreadsheet, Maggie and my team was able to use AI, and she quickly saw, like, this isn't replacing your job. This is making your work more impactful. So she didn't spend hours doing a spreadsheet. She was able to do more proactive things that we need for some communications and stuff like that are coming out over the next few weeks. So that's been one thing. Obviously, that's just the stereotype everyone hears, that they're worried about their jobs, they're worried about this. And no, it's just making your life easier, more productive in what you need to do. To provide for your organization and stuff like that. And Another area with what I think is most impactful about this AI studio is that we're going to the students, asking the students what they want.
Yeah.
And they're actually being a part of the discussion and the rollout of this. And that's what's going to be the most beneficial to the students. It's not we're like, hey, just do this or try this. It's they're actually engaging in it. And I think that's what is really cool on campus to see.
Well, and it was, as you were saying that, I was thinking about Northeastern University, and the ethos there is experiential learning.
Yes. Yep.
And here it's a little different, right? At Northeastern, co-op was a big thing where students would go off and have jobs and they'd get that experience while they were learning on campus. I feel like the studio is sort of like forcing a little bit of that experiential learning into a multidisciplinary curriculum, because we're not drawing students from just liberal arts or computer science. We want students from every part of campus. I mean,
all different perspectives.
One of our best engagements right now is with the School of Nursing.
Yeah.
Right. And we co-sponsor a graduate student from the School of Nursing in the nascent studio. We have another graduate student already working 50% of his time in the studio from computer science. And like you say, like the students bring a different perspective to this. And I think one thing all of us can learn from students is that AI requires some personal agency in the form of courage.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be courageous enough to say, this isn't going to take my job, but the person who learns how to do this probably will. And so you're not risking anything in the moment other than your own professional development.
And don't wait until you're ready. Technology changes so much.
Yeah.
Just dive in and be ready to learn and try it. You're not going to fail because you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
But just try. And I think that's what is really important. And that's what the students are able to kind of show us.
Yeah. That's sort of like an interesting role reversal, is like when you look at the students and you say,
they're teaching us.
they're the ones teaching us.
Yes.
And I think that's that should be one of the core tenets of how we think about AI going forward is, hey, you got to be brave. You got to be bold. You have to be responsible. And I think that the other message for our staff especially is that AI without a human in the loop is fiction, right? So you get to 70%, that saved you 2 weeks. It's the 30% that's left where the human intelligence comes in and creates the solution that actually matters for all of us.
Yeah.
And so I think even in those fears, if we refactor them and reframe them into a way that helps people see that taking the risk by not participating is a much bigger risk than taking the time to learn and to understand how this technology changes and challenges you.
Yeah.
One of the things I think we really did well is we made sure every member of our team, as soon as licenses were available, that they had them.
Yes.
And I think we're seeing the typical adoption cycle, the bell curve, where a lot of people in the middle are really trying. We have a bunch of laggards who are, I think, still concerned, but that population is shrinking.
Yeah.
I mean, if we'd have had this conversation 3 months ago, I would say that more like a half of the organization is concerned. Now I think we're down to about 20%. And
that feels right.
Last night we do our, as you know, because you and your team put it together, but we had our holiday party, and I was talking to people all across the organization who are now, I didn't know this, are now using Claude Code. They're using Spark. They're building agents. Like our networking and infrastructure teams, we have to have John and JJ and some of his folks come in and talk about this. The work that they're doing with AI to be proactive in protecting our network, not only the UT Austin network, but we also run the network for the entire system.
Yes.
And they're able to use a combination of sensor technology and log data backed by AI to say, we're going to have a problem. They're protecting circuits before they go. And like, those are the kinds of things that I can't hire enough staff across the state of Texas to monitor those kinds of things. So again, it's not taking people's jobs, but it's making the engineers look like freaking superheroes.
That's awesome. I didn't even know we were doing that.
Yeah.
I learned something new today.
Right. And those are the stories that I'm starting to hear across our organization. And I think part of why this podcast is so important to us is it gives us a chance to amplify those stories and to bring life to them and to make people realize that, hey, this is not terrifying. This is what's happening, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're in a world where AI is here to stay. The genie's out of the bottle, but the train hasn't left the station. Was that enough? Were there enough metaphors?
Yeah, and
there?
it's don't be afraid of AI replacing you. Be afraid of the person next to you that's using AI that's going to replace you, because they'll be way more productive than you are.
Yeah, and I think, a couple of my colleagues and I were out in California visiting one of our vendors, Workday, and looking at their new technologies. And one of the things that was most interesting was their embedded use of AI in the platforms. And we started to have this conversation about the idea that what will an interface look like to a human resource system in 5 years? Will there be icons, or will you simply just ask it to update your attendance? Wow. Will you request your vacation in Workday, or will you just chat to the Workday agent in Teams and it will handle all of that at the back end, right? Like,
wow.
That's where they're going. The idea of an HR professional having to build with script reports, you'll just be able to ask for the type of report you want. And they demonstrated this. This is real stuff. They have it out.
Save a lot of time for our staff.
Right? But so you think you can run and hide from it, I think, is where this is headed.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned it. Every piece of technology that we're getting ready to have our hands on is AI powered.
Yep.
Canva, which is just now blown up on campus.
Yes.
Huge AI components in there. Microsoft, obviously, across the entire portfolio. But now things like our HR systems, our future financial systems, they're all going to be underpinned by large language models that are going to be able to execute these tasks that hopefully should free up 30, 50% of time so people can upskill and go into other areas. But I think that's the most important thing. And I think over the next couple of episodes, we're going to explore what that looks like. We're going to talk about the technology behind the platforms. And I think that's really interesting, especially when we get Cody and Mario in here.
Yes.
Because we've been consuming cloud-based AI services. Our next move with our corporate partners is to bring that technology to campus, embed it in our data centers, so we can have our own local LLMs to unleash against all sorts of tasks. Because, for those people, the one listener out there who stumbled across this, who's wondering how they pay for it, it's very difficult when you start operating this at scale. The credit utilization on cloud tools, all of it is very, very expensive.
Oh, it is. I know.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
pay the bills.
You're paying the bills. And so bringing some of that technology to campus will allow us to enhance our security posture incredibly, feeding logs from Splunk directly into trained LLMs and agents to be able to have threat detection, manage our network, write code, do code reviews on the mainframe. Think about the body of code that exists to run these systems that now could be loaded into Claude Code and GitHub and reviewed and managed that way. So I think once we start to talk about, again, we started by dipping our toe in the water. We didn't build, we bought. And now we're sort of taking a look at it and saying, boy, adoption is massive.
It is. And I think it's a lot of kudos to Mario and Cody really leading that. And that's why I'm really excited for the next podcast. But I think they're a great duo. Cody is able to bring the technical and teach anyone about it and really be able to speak about it, but also technically be able to do all of it. And him and Mario have been able to really do a lot this past year. Yeah.
And I think I'll leave it with this, that, one of the things, that I've always been a big fan of Steve Jobs. He was one of my heroes. And one of the things that I loved about the early days of Apple when he came back is he had a slide on screen one day and he talked about where Apple exists. And he said, we exist at the corner of the liberal arts and technology. And I really want our organization to live at the intersection of the liberal arts and technology. And what does that mean? It means you have an appreciation for the human beings, the mores, the culture, the ethos that you're living in, the air that you're breathing. But at the same time, you have technical capabilities that can go beyond human imagination and vision and deliver a solution that meets people as they rise to that need. And that's what we're trying to do with AI. And so I'm just really excited that we finally got this off the ground.
Yes.
Huge thanks to the team.
I have to ask you one question before we
Yeah,
end.
do it.
What has been your best memory over the last year related to AI?
There's a whole bunch of them. I mean, the initial sort of thrill of seeing students picking up the tools and using them and watching adoption go from like 0 to like 2,000 in a week was really exciting. But I think if I had to have a highlight of it, it's that the AI in a day that we did.
Yes.
And 225 people
Wow.
during a work day took time out. We ran out of food.
We did.
We ran out of food. I thought it was.
Hey, we learned for next time.
No, but I thought that was the greatest success of
Next
the
time
day.
I'll ask AI how much food we need to order.
But what that day showed me was that we have the ability to truly coalesce a community of engaged people around this technology. And what was really cool was that these people weren't IT people.
No.
I mean, yeah, there were some IT people there, but they were fundraisers. They were finance professionals. They were HR professionals.
Project managers,
staff assistants, everything in between, some faculty, right? We had people demonstrate their own agents. And the look on people's faces, you know, sort of like when I first typed into ChatGPT and I was like, oh my God, this is insane. Now this guy is running his entire project management office, a one-person PMO through an agent.
Wow.
Right. And it's just incredible to see. So yeah, I think that's the highlight. And we have so much more of that coming.
That was like our first event that we had a wait list for.
Yeah.
More people wanted to come. We had to keep opening it up a little more just to get more people in. But I think that is the first of many to come.
It is.
But it'll be exciting.
Yeah, I think the next one we're actually planning is in April, I think.
Yes.
I mean, Mario will give me the exact date. But what we're planning to do is with the AI in a day is then center them around various disciplines on campus. So not necessarily academic disciplines, but operational disciplines. So AI in a day for financial professionals, AI in a day for human resource professionals, et cetera. And we're working with the VPs in those offices for them to sponsor them. And it won't just be for the folks that work in the VP suite. It'll be for the people that work out in the colleges as well. So imagine a day of 200 financial people all hearing about AI tools, but hearing about it as a collective. And that's where it starts to change because they start to share ideas. And it goes from them being passive observers to a session to being active learners. And, you know, I like this idea that we can like infuse learning theory into our events as it counts and get boots on the ground immediately with results.
Academic technology always comes through.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? So, well, listen, Amanda, thank you so much for being part of this.
No,
and for
I'm excited.
making it all happen. You
Finally.
And your team. And so thanks everyone. Episode 1 of Enterprise Technology Talk. I'm Cole Camplese, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.